You think your diet is weird? Maybe you put pineapple on pizza. Maybe you drink oat milk. Maybe you willingly eat kale. Congratulations. You're still nowhere near as strange as your ancestors. Because throughout history, humans have eaten things so bizarre, so confusing, and so aggressively questionable that modern health inspectors would probably need therapy afterward. We're talking about rotten fish treated like treasure, birds swallowed whole, cheese that contains live maggots, soup made from bird spit, and one dessert that was literally radioactive. The strangest part? Most of these weren't survival foods. People loved them. Some were luxury dishes. Others were served to kings. A few are still eaten today by perfectly normal people who apparently wake up every morning and choose chaos. So grab a snack, preferably one that isn't staring back at you. Because these are some of the strangest foods people ate throughout history. Casu marzu. Most cheeses age quietly. Casu marzu chose violence. This Sardinian cheese begins life as ordinary sheep cheese. Then producers deliberately allow cheese flies to lay eggs inside it. The eggs hatch. Thousands of larvae begin eating the cheese. Their digestive process transforms the interior into a soft, creamy paste. The catch: the maggots are still alive when it's served. Some can jump several inches into the air when disturbed. People literally wear eye protection while eating it. Imagine needing safety goggles for lunch. And somehow this became a delicacy. Garum. The Roman Empire was addicted to fish sludge. Garum was created by packing fish guts, blood, and organs into containers and leaving them under the hot sun. For months, the mixture slowly decomposed into a fermented liquid. Workers strained the liquid and bottled it. Romans poured it on nearly everything: meat, vegetables, bread, wine, probably other garum. Entire industries were built around producing this rotten fish sauce. The smell reportedly traveled for miles. Yet wealthy Romans paid premium prices for the finest brands. Apparently luxury is subjective. Ortolan. France has produced some elegant cuisine. Then there's this. The ortolan is a tiny songbird. Traditionally it was captured and kept in darkness, so it would eat constantly. The bird doubled in size. It was then drowned in brandy, roasted whole, and eaten whole. Bones, organs, everything. But the weirdest part was the ritual. Diners covered their heads with a cloth while eating. Some claimed it trapped the aroma. Others believed it hid them from God. Neither explanation improves the situation. 1,000-year eggs. These eggs aren't actually 1,000 years old, which is fortunate. They're preserved for weeks or months in a mixture of clay, ash, lime, and salt. The yolk becomes dark green. The white transforms into translucent black jelly. To someone unfamiliar with them, they look like evidence from a crime scene. Instead, they're considered a delicacy. History has repeatedly proven that appearance means absolutely nothing when food is involved. Muktuk. Arctic survival requires creativity. Muktuk consists of whale skin and the layer of blubber attached beneath it. It's often eaten raw. The texture has been compared to chewing rubber mixed with coconut. Not exactly a glowing review, but it contains vital nutrients that helped people survive in harsh northern environments. When your choices are whale skin or scurvy, whale skin starts looking pretty attractive. Blood soup. Humans hate wasting food. Sometimes that's admirable. Sometimes it results in soup made entirely from blood. Across Europe and Asia, cooks transformed animal blood into stews, soups, sausages, and puddings. Fresh pig blood was particularly popular. The result looked terrifying, but it was nutritious and practical. History teaches us that necessity can make almost anything edible. Hakarl. Greenland shark meat is naturally toxic. Most people would see that as a warning. Icelanders saw it as a challenge. The shark was buried underground for months, then hung to dry for several more months. The fermentation process removed the toxins. Eventually, the final product became known as hakarl. Visitors often describe the smell as industrial cleaner mixed with concentrated ammonia. Yet locals proudly serve it during festivals. National pride is a powerful seasoning. Roasted dormice. The Romans appear again, because apparently they were unstoppable. Wealthy Romans raised dormice specifically for eating. The rodents were fed nuts and grains until they became fat. Then they were roasted and served at banquets. Guests considered them luxurious. Imagine attending a dinner party where the host proudly unveils gourmet mice. Ancient Rome was a strange place. Bird's nest soup. This soup is made from bird spit. That's the entire story. Certain swiftlet birds create nests almost entirely from hardened saliva. People harvest the nests, clean them, boil them, and turn them into soup. The nests dissolve into gelatin-like strands. The dish became one of the most expensive foods in Asia. Humans climbed dangerous cliffs for bird saliva, because apparently money can't buy common sense. Seal flipper pie. Newfoundland cuisine contains many surprises. Seal flipper pie is one of them. Seal flippers are marinated and baked inside a rich pastry crust. Locals consider it traditional comfort food. Visitors usually need a moment to process what they've just heard. The difference between comfort food and psychological warfare often depends on where you grew up. Jellyfish salad. Most people try to avoid touching jellyfish. Some cultures decided to eat them instead. After special preparation, jellyfish develop a crunchy texture. Not soft, not slimy, crunchy. The result is often served cold in salads. It's one of those foods that sounds fake until someone places it directly in front of you. Pickled walrus. Arctic communities wasted nothing, including walrus. The meat was buried underground and allowed to ferment naturally. Months later, it was dug up and eaten. The smell was reportedly unforgettable. Unfortunately, not in a good way. Fermented walrus became proof that hunger can dramatically expand your definition of cuisine. Sanachi. This Korean dish starts with a live octopus. Then things get weird. The octopus is cut into pieces. Immediately, while the nerves are still active, the tentacles continue moving on the plate. Sometimes they continue moving inside your mouth. Diners must chew carefully because suction cups can stick to the throat. It's one of the few meals capable of fighting back after being served. Camel hump. For centuries, camel hump was considered a prized delicacy throughout parts of the Middle East. The hump contains stored fat. When cooked slowly, it becomes rich and tender. Travelers often described it as one of the finest foods available, which means somebody looked at a giant lump of camel fat and discovered luxury. Human culinary history is basically one long experiment. Stuffed camel. Speaking of camels, this might be the most ridiculous dish ever created. The recipe involves stuffing a camel with sheep. The sheep are stuffed with chickens. The chickens are stuffed with fish and eggs. It's less a meal and more a construction project. The dish became legendary for its sheer excess. Some feasts apparently required engineering skills. Fried tarantulas. Cambodia looked at giant spiders and saw opportunity. Large tarantulas are seasoned and deep-fried. The legs become crispy. The abdomen stays soft. Tourists usually react with terror. Locals react with hunger. Perspective changes everything. Fermented herring. Sweden decided fish wasn't smelly enough. Surströmming is fermented Baltic herring. The fermentation creates one of the strongest odors on Earth. Airlines refuse to transport it. Apartment buildings sometimes ban opening it indoors. People compare the smell to a biological weapon. And yet devoted fans absolutely love it. Some mysteries cannot be solved. Sheep's head. In several cultures, the entire sheep's head became dinner. Eyes included. Tongue included. Brain included. Nothing wasted. Guests were often presented with the head staring directly at them. It's difficult to complain about presentation when the presentation is making eye contact. Eskimos. These are ant larvae. Specifically, giant ant larvae harvested in Mexico. They're often called insect caviar, which is excellent marketing, because fried ant babies probably wouldn't sell as well. Despite the appearance, they're considered delicious. Sometimes branding really is everything. Lutefisk. This Scandinavian specialty begins with dried fish. Then it's soaked in lye. Yes, the chemical used in industrial cleaning products. After additional soaking, it becomes edible. Technically, the texture resembles fish-flavored gelatin. Some traditions survive purely because nobody wants to admit defeat. Cow brain sandwiches. Brains have appeared on menus throughout history. Cow brain sandwiches became particularly popular in parts of North America. The brains were battered and fried. People described them as creamy and rich, which sounds significantly better than brain sandwich. Marketing matters. Beyondaegi. Silkworm pupae became a common street food in Korea. They're boiled or steamed, served in cups, and eaten like snacks. The smell is often compared to old wood and earth. Not exactly movie theater popcorn. Yet millions enjoy them. Humans will eat almost anything if enough generations approve. Tuna eyeballs. Japan has elevated seafood into an art form, including the eyeballs. Large tuna eyes are cooked and served whole. The eyeball sits on the plate looking mildly concerned. Diners describe the texture as similar to squid. The visual experience is considerably more challenging than the flavor. Fermented soybeans. Natto looks like science fiction. The beans are coated in sticky strings that stretch dramatically with every bite. It resembles something discovered in a laboratory. Yet it's incredibly popular in Japan. Appearance remains one of history's least reliable indicators of taste. Rocky Mountain oysters. These are not oysters. Not even slightly. They're bull testicles. Someone invented the name because the truth was difficult to market. The deception worked. People ordered them, then learned a valuable lesson about reading menus carefully. Puffin hearts. In Iceland, some hunters traditionally ate puffin hearts raw, immediately after hunting. The practice was considered fresh, nutritious, and practical. Most tourists struggle with the concept. The puffins probably struggled with it more. Mouse wine. Ancient medicinal traditions occasionally crossed into nightmare territory. Mouse wine involved placing baby mice into rice wine. The mixture fermented for months. People believed it possessed healing properties. Whether it healed anything remains debatable. Whether it terrified everyone is not. Sea cucumber. Sea cucumbers resemble giant moving vegetables. Or aliens, depending on your mood. Despite their appearance, they've been prized throughout Asia for centuries. Texture matters more than appearance. History repeatedly proves this point, usually in disturbing ways. Black pudding. Another blood-based classic. Pig blood is mixed with fat and oats, then formed into sausage. It sounds alarming, yet millions eat it regularly. Eventually, strange foods stop being strange if enough people keep serving them. Ambergris. This substance comes from sperm whales. Specifically, it's produced inside their digestive system. Sometimes it's described as whale vomit. Sometimes it's described as whale waste. Neither option improves things. For centuries, it was used in luxury foods and perfumes. People paid fortunes for mysterious chunks floating in the ocean. History's luxury market was truly unpredictable. Radium water. Early 20th century marketing was completely unhinged. Some companies sold radioactive drinking water. They claimed it improved health, energy, vitality, longevity. The products actually exposed people to radiation. One enthusiastic customer consumed so much that parts of his jaw literally deteriorated. History occasionally reminds us why regulations exist. Ice cream made from snow. Ancient rulers loved frozen desserts. Long before refrigeration, servants collected snow from mountains. The snow was transported over long distances, mixed with fruit and flavorings, and served to royalty. Imagine risking your life hauling frozen water across mountains so somebody could enjoy dessert. That's dedication, or poor career planning. Humans crossed oceans, built empires, invented mathematics, reached space. And somehow, during all that, we also decided to eat maggot cheese, rotten shark, ant larvae, and radioactive water. History isn't just stranger than fiction. History is stranger than anything a fiction writer would dare submit. So here's my question. Which food on this list would you actually try? And which one would require a court order? Drop your answer in the comments. If you enjoyed this trip through humanity's strangest menu, hit subscribe. Because trust me, history only gets weirder.